Oh, I'm ready, guys. We'll start with Liam.
Does it feel like you've been on a roller coaster tonight?
Yeah, one of the longest roller coasters you'll ever get. Where do I start? I actually thought we played well, if I'm being honest with you. I think just watching back there, the 2 goals we can do better. But one thing I've got to say about my group of players is, and it's something that's been labelled against them, is they showed character. It's easy to go, feel sorry for yourself, but they kept going, took it into extra time, and obviously you get into the penalty situation, and I thought we handled that very well. Jack obviously making some brilliant saves. Giannis is a bit disappointed in there with missing his penalty, but listen, that's part of football. But look, the main objective was to make sure I got this club into the last 8, and that's something that we've done.
There was quite a lot of adversity out there in the game, not least the final score on the scoreboard after extra time. But there felt like a real togetherness from the crowd to the squad itself. Did you feel that way?
Yeah, that's something that since we've been in just over 2 weeks that we've tried to change. It's a group of players when we come in that were well short of confidence. There was no doubt about that. So that's something that we worked on over the last couple of weeks. And I thought tonight, I've got to give the supporters I mentioned, I thought they stuck with the team right to the very end, and the atmosphere was absolute electric at times.
Barry, you've had some big nights at this football club. Can you just sum up what that means to you personally to take Rangers into the quarter-finals of the Europa League?
Yeah, it's I've said many a times, I'm proud. Listen, to play with the club and then captain the club was obviously a boyhood dream, but to stand in the sidelines and lead the team that I grew up supporting as a boy is an amazing feeling. But listen, when I get appointed, I know there's a lot of people who says that I wasn't qualified or I wasn't the right guy for the job. That just makes me even more determined. So look, I'm coming in here to do as best as I can for this 3 months. I'm going to give it everything. And one thing you're seeing, certainly for the players, is they're digging deep for me, and that's all I ask them, because I know there's good players, I know there's good footballers in there. They just need a bit of guidance and to understand what it means to play for this club. And now I think it's starting to hit home, and I thought tonight's performance, in terms of, obviously the result wasn't great, but I just thought the way that they carried themselves, didn't feel sorry for themselves. They kept going to the very end to take it into penalties, and obviously we come through the penalty situation. So just absolutely delighted for the players, for the board of directors, and most importantly for the supporters, because they're going to get another brilliant away day in Europe.
Barry, obviously you're through the last 8 now. I mean, what chance do you give your team of actually going all the way? Do you believe that this is a team that's capable of going to the final again?
Andy, I'm not even thinking about that. Do you know, as soon as I ran on the park and tried to jump on Jack Butland, I was just concerned about Sunday and who's going to be walking through the training centre in half decent condition. That's all I'm thinking just now. We'll take care of that situation after we play a few games before that. But look, the most important thing for me was I spoke to the staff, I spoke to the players, was to make sure that we get into the last 8, because it gets a couple of pounds for the club, but also it gives my group of players to go and showcase their talents against really top opposition.
I suppose as well, if you'd lost tonight, the season's not got much left to play for. Now you've got something to keep the guys marching forward, something to aim for the next few months, next few weeks.
Yeah, I get that the leagues, in terms of points, were obviously 16 points behind Celtic, but there's still a lot to play for, in my opinion. You need to go and show what it means to play at this club, and listen, Europe, it's a long shot in terms of getting to the final, but we're going to give it our best shot. And in terms of the league games that are going to be coming up, we need to go and show that we're more than capable of making challenges every single season.
Barry, do you think that, I mean,
for anyone who grew up following Rangers, even in 80s and 90s, European success like this wasn't regular. Do you think maybe because things haven't been going well domestically that there's maybe a kind of lack of appreciation for the fact this is a Scottish team in a major European quarter-final? It's quite a remarkable achievement.
Yeah, it is. And listen, I've played in Europe plenty of times, and it's tough to play because you're coming up against top opposition, top players, top managers, and the boys have done ever so well. And listen, don't underestimate what happened tonight. We come up against a top team in Fenerbahçe. They've got players. You've seen it tonight, and you've seen it not as much obviously last Thursday, but I knew after the game last Thursday that this was no way finished and a done deal. We had to go and make sure that we kind of stuck to our game plan. Did it work? I thought it could have been better. That's why I kind of changed the shape and I made a couple of changes. But I've spoke to you about this before. That's one thing. I've been at every single Rangers game this season. One thing about this Rangers team is it's not been flexible enough. So we can change that within a game. And that's only a couple of weeks, probably maximum 5 days in a training and on the grass. So I've got to give the boys credit for taking all the information in, because sometimes you can overload them with information, and we've tried to just kind of seep things in. But I just thought, sitting with my staff last week, I had to make a decision because it wasn't going well with the formation we're playing, 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, whatever you like. I didn't feel it was the way to go forward at times. We changed that to a back three. We started with a back three tonight, but I sensed after that, just to flip it a wee bit and make them think a wee bit more, we went to a 4-2-3-1. So I think it's important that we are flexible. But in terms of Europe, the players I know, and I think they'll be man enough to admit, domestically it's not been good enough. I'm not going to sit here and kid them down. It's been way off it. But in terms of Europe, it's been really good. But we need to transfer that into the kind of league, into the league games. So I think we've done decent work, but we can do a lot more, and that's what we'll certainly do in the coming months.
Barry, after everything that's happened in the last few home games, when it went to 2-0 tonight, what was going through your head that made you believe the players could find a way to come out of this?
Well, I've spoke to them the last 3 days about this. It's easy to feel sorry for you and the fans. Listen, the Rangers fans are brilliant supporters, but they demand of you, and you've got to handle that kind of pressure, and I don't think we've handled that pretty well. And that was a challenge I put to them. I says, look, it could be the case if you go a goal down, even two, which happened tonight, but one thing they showed is character, and I said to them, maybe some people will now start to think these guys have got something about them. And that was one of my objectives when I come in to take the job. Obviously, I'd mentioned earlier that I've been to all the games this season, and that was something when I was watching Rangers, fine when they go ahead, but when something goes against them, they go into their shell a wee bit. But certainly tonight they didn't. They kept driving on, they kept running themselves into the ground, and we took it into, obviously, extra time, then penalties, and we showed a bit of mettle. That's what we did.
Last couple, please.
Barry, as the game was drifting on to penalties, did your mind drift back to Florence and how Walter prepared you guys for that penalty shootout against Fiorentina?
Are you talking about my penalty miss?
Not your penalty, not your specifically, but the...
All right.
Yeah.
I know a few people have already mentioned that.
How he handled it, because it's a pressure situation.
Do you know what I done? I made the players make a decision. Who was taking the penalties? I got them in. I says, who feels confident? Yous make a decision. And I feel that was the best way to go forward. They decided what was happening, and they went up, and obviously took good penalties. Giannis was good. He's disappointed, which I like, that he's missed. But listen, it's part of the game. But I thought that the other guys who stepped up slotted their penalties away really well. But in terms of penalties saved, I thought Jack Butland, delighted for him. Again, I've known him since a young boy. He was at Birmingham when I was there. I could see the potential and how good he was going to be. He's come up here and he's took a bit of flack, and I think unfair at times. He showed his qualities tonight.
Barry, how would you sum up your captain's performance tonight?
He's been immense since I've come in. There's a lot of clamour. Change him. There was no way I was changing him after I spoke to him on the Monday night when everything was agreed with myself to come in. I looked him in the eyes and I knew he was the guy to lead this club when I was in charge, and obviously I'm going to be in charge for 3 months, and I think since I've took over he's been a leader. I think you've seen that tonight. He was driving his players on, his teammates on, and that's what I want to see for a captain. But he's been certainly captain material since I've took over this job.
And a word on Bilbao, the challenge that awaits?
I'm not, honestly, I just want to go home, have a wee nightcap, wake up, when my eyes open in the morning, then I need to focus on Sunday. I'm not even thinking about, obviously, the next game against Bilbao.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Tomorrow.
Thanks.